3, 2, 1. Hello! It's another episode of Mystery Monday here on the Creative Smartphone Photography Group with your host, as ever, me. Yep, still me. And I've been doing this for 3 weeks in a row, so that's pretty good going for me. I'm one of those creative people who, as soon as I get a new idea, I go off on that tangent and leave the old one, and it kind of bugs me, but I'm kind of going down the new route. But I don't want to do that. I want to really, I've been doing street photography of one sort or another in Paris for over 25 years. So something is telling me that seems like a pretty good direction to carry on going in, but a bit more seriously. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm having fun, you know. Every time it comes up to the moment where I'm going to press that go live button, there's that little sort of tension, that sort of slight fluttering. It's not exactly nerves, it's a kind of a nervous excitement. But I've never felt better doing these things. I've never felt better just spending hours, 2 or 3 hours a week, just talking about photographs. It's just so nice. So here we are. This is the Mystery Monday webinar, and it's the day if you look at the thing that I just showed you, do say hello, by the way, hello in the comments. And also, if you want to come into the studio, I put a link in the comments. Let's see if I can show that to you. So that's the Mystery Monday thread where you put all your amazing pictures of doors. I'm very, very happy. We have a lot of interesting doors to talk about, if that's your thing. And this is just check to see if I actually am live. Am I live? Kind of seem to be live. Yeah. Yeah, I seem to be live. And there's a link here. Let me just try and get rid of that video. Anyway, there's a link down here. And if you click on this link, and you've got a Chrome browser or a Firefox browser, you can come into the studio with me. And otherwise, just say hello. That is also nice. Say hello in the chat, and someone possibly has. And sorry, you're seeing stuff that probably isn't very interesting for you. And someone has said hello, and we have Reinhold has said hello. Reinhold is proving to be a very dynamic member of the group. He's already posted a couple of things, and I'm going to see what he's posted in a minute. I think we've got a couple of doors from him. And let's get going. So, well, just a bit of news on my week. Okay, so the first half of this is normally talking about the entries for last week's mystery theme. It's a mystery because you don't know what next week's is yet, and I've decided to not announce it until the end of this webinar. Second new thing, I don't know what it's going to be, so I want you to give me ideas. We had blue, so it's a kind of abstract color theme last week. This week we had doors. It's much more concrete. It's a very, very solid thing, you know. A door is a door, unless you want to get sort of weird and wonderful. I don't have a theme for next week. Starting at the end of this webinar, when the theme will be live, I don't have it. So please give me some ideas, give me themes, and I'll choose the one I like best. Or if you want to come on the show with me, you can choose it with me. I've got Alice is making a comment, but she doesn't seem to be in the, let's see, is she? I'm not sure if she's, I've got someone saying hi, Sab. Yeah, that's Reinhold. All right, well, if the comments come up in this thread in my special program, I know you're watching the video. Otherwise, Alice doesn't know that we're actually live, and she's sort of doing her own thing somewhere else in the group, which is fine. All right, so I'm going to talk about a couple of things that have happened this week in case you missed them. I'm going to share this with you, this screen. I've created a Facebook page to go with this group. This isn't exciting stuff, so I'll keep it short. There's certain advantages to having a Facebook. Is that the Facebook page? No, it's not. That's my profile. Yeah, there's a certain possible advantages to having a Facebook page to go with the group. So I've created that. It's called Creative Smartphone Photography. So if you want to like that, you can. It's literally facebook.com/creative smartphone photography. I discovered there's another group with the same name, and they've got hundreds of people, but it's just a dumping ground for photographs. You know, you just dump all your photographs in there and nothing much else happens. So I'm okay. I still feel okay that this group is going to be the best. So there's that. On Saturday, on the Sabinar Saturday, I spent some time talking about my photographs of the week. I'm only doing that because you're not giving me enough photographs, okay? As soon as you give me your photographs, I'll spend more time on yours and less on mine. But I was talking about my last 7 photographs on my page, which is called 𝗪𝗡𝗙𝗓𝗡. Those are the last 2. I hadn't written the text. I was behind. I still am behind. Check those out. I mean, these are wonderful curiosities of Paris. Do have a look at those. You know, you might wonder what on earth that is. It's kind of pale, but it's tucked away behind tower blocks. You know, you walk into the back streets, you go into the outer lying districts, the arrondissement, you find wonderful stuff. This was in a posh street in Paris. And just to show you the other 7, the other 5, in case you want to check out the video, Saturday's video, I talk all about these, plus others. And I'm busy working towards the end of the year and the end of this volume. All right, so those are the others that I talked about. So there's that. I mean, for each one, I pick out one particular photographic point, if I can imagine one. You know, I don't spend half an hour on each photograph. I try to find one salient point that is interesting to talk about in each photograph. So it doesn't, you know, so it moves on quite quickly. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was, I'm going to share another thing. On Wednesday, which is coming up again in a couple of days, my last theme was on angles. And I shared some of my photographs of angles. You can have a look at them here. And I realized, just look for the angles in all these shots. I realized that there were more angles than there weren't angles in my shots. You know, literally, I was looking for shots where there weren't extreme angles. So it seems like that's my thing. It's one of my things. It's not for everybody. I mean, in this case, you know, the camera isn't necessarily tilted, but there's still these sort of angles. So that seems to be my thing. What's yours? Have you got a thing? And if not, why not? I'm not saying you have to have a thing, but things, like in other words, your sort of signature photographic style, which could be a mixture of many, many different elements. In the old days, it could have been film, couldn't it? You know, a certain type of film. These days, we've got many ways of creating a photographic style, almost as many maybe as an artist painting with paint. So the thing is to discover, you know, what sort of things can you do to discover some sort of style, to have a style, and then to start applying it. It sounds a bit like a restriction, but it's not. It's that you find a way of taking photographs that you love, and as you develop it, the two of them sort of meld together. You become the style becomes you, and without knowing it, people will recognize your photographs, and that's a very, very nice thing. So there's that. Now let's go on to the real reason for this. Say hello in the comments if you want to. Hello if you're watching on the replay. Thanks for watching the replay. We're going to get on to last week's theme, which was doors. And I got some great shots of doors. When is a door not a door? When it's ajar. That was a joke that one of my 3 jokes I think I had when I was a kid. Quite like that one. The other one was, oh my God, what's the difference between a mad Dutchman and a drain pipe? One is a silly Hollander and the other is a hollow cylinder. Maybe I only had 2. All right, here's Monday theme. And it was about doors. I started you off. There will be winners announced. You can help me by leaving comments. If you particularly like a shot, apart from mine, obviously, then do leave a comment and I'll take that into account as I'm choosing the winners for the week. That was my getting the ball rolling one. Me in a graveyard in Paris with a tomb with my name on it, Will, can you believe that? And a cat that adopted me. Then we had 𝗙𝗪𝗙𝗪𝗘, who found this door. I mean, it's amazing. She just woke up and opened her eyes and there it was. Because it's actually a door in her bedroom and she didn't even bother getting out of bed to take this shot. I mean, how lazy can you get? And she is an angle fan. So we got them angles in there, that's for sure. It's very strange, isn't it? It's very minimalistic. There's nothing there apart from the door, which is at this crazy angle, except the top, which is not at a crazy angle at all. So quite an intriguing shot, that one. And this is Yaruska, who gave me a beautiful shot. She did a lovely rich sepia treatment on it, and it's beautifully symmetrical. I mean, if you look at it very carefully, it's not 100% symmetrical, but it's as near as damn it. And if it was symmetrical, it would kind of be like you'd put a mirror down the middle. So a tiny bit of imperfection, not that it not being absolutely symmetrical makes it imperfect, but you know, there's this thing, I mentioned this in an early video. There's this Japanese or something type of way of looking at things called wabi-sabi. Let me just do a little digression here. And wabi-sabi, I was delighted when I discovered that this was a thing, because wabi-sabi is the kind of the art of imperfection, the love of imperfection. And I now call it sabi-wabi. What I do is now sabi-wabi, whatever. And it's great, you know, it's like the main thing, the main example that they give for you to get it quickly is that if you've got a bowl, a nice bowl, you drop it. Like I spilled coffee all over my computer a second ago. But anyway, you drop it, it smashes. Well, normally you throw it out. But no, they don't. They will put it back together with glue, okay? But here's the thing. They don't go for invisible glue, so you can't see the joins. They go for a glue, which is like a, you know, whoa, a flashy glue, like gold sparkly or something like that. So you can actually see the joins as a sort of embellishment. It's actually, they consider it better than before because it's lived, it's got a history. So, so what? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, imperfection is fine by me. I don't like perfection. Besides, it doesn't exist. You see, the only reason I know this isn't exactly dead on, it was so dead on, like symmetrical, I thought, I'm going to find something that proves it isn't symmetrical. And then I looked up to the top. You can't see this now, can you? Hey, I often do that, don't I? And I looked up to the top. Let me get rid of that branding. And I saw that the layer of bricks was slightly, a little bit, you know, off center. So that's fine. So it's lovely, absolutely beautiful, rich color. Thanks, Yaruska. Beautiful, beautiful. And Reinhold actually replied there. Impressive door. Everything's so symmetrical, and I agreed with him as well. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful color. It's a choice, isn't it? It's a photographic choice. Sepia, rich sepia, or any other tint that you like at all. Sepia is popular because it was one of the old photographic tints, maybe because they didn't have any others. I don't know, but there's something different about sepia or rich browny orangey tones to any other tint, which makes it a little bit special. But if you want to go weird, choose another tint. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, so this is Maris, who's she's in the States, I think, not far from New York, but she's of Belgian origin, I think. And she's done another wacky self-portrait. She's in the door. So, you know, good for her. Maybe she doesn't have much time, but she is up for the challenge. So when she sees a door, she took it. And as with her last one, if you remember, Maurice was trapped in a Christmas ball, bluish Christmas ball, because the theme was blue. Now she's in the reflection of the door with a little doggy behind. So isn't that nice? That's cute. You know, it can be simple, but there is a double layer to it. It's not just a door. This was me giving another example of what you could do with doors. There's an angle. It's not all the door. I'm just going to give you some of the things that you could use. You know, it's at an angle. That's one thing. It's not all the door, which is another. Look for little details. It's got peeling paint. There's another. There's a hinge. Look for a detail on the door. It could be the door handle. Could be the keyhole, or a lock. Could be I don't know, a bashed edge of it. Or, you know, take it from the edge on, or it could be graffiti. It could be something written on the door. So all of those are possibilities, which you can see some of them in that photograph. I hope I didn't miss any, because there's some replies, and occasionally people leave photographs in the replies. No, Okay, yeah, now check this one out. This is again from 𝗪𝗡𝗙𝗙 in Peru. And I was just amazed by this. I was absolutely blown away. It's so beautiful. And she's done some beautiful stuff with the colors. I'm not exactly sure what. And it's backed against, hang on, I've just got a comment. Just let me see. I liked your door very much, someone says. Can I find out who that is? 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗕𝗙𝗢 is watching. Oh, good. Someone said they liked my door very much, and I don't know who it was. Suggestion for next week is coming in from a Facebook user. Now, if you want to get, so I can see your names easily, you need to go to streamyard.com/Facebook and just click a button, and then I can see who you are when you comment. Otherwise, it's really quite tricky for me. That's just the way it is. So I've got a suggestion for a next week's theme, and that is pattern. Pattern, going. Well, we'll see if there's any other ideas. And someone said, I like your door very much. Well, thanks. So as I was saying, this is just, I'm flabbergasted at this door. Somehow you've got the brown behind the door. The brown of the bike is the same brown as behind, but the door is blue. I don't know how you did that. Well done. And the blue is absolutely gorgeous. That could have been in the blue theme from last week. Oh, I love it. You know, I can drown in blue. It's not a turquoisey blue. It's still blue, but it's moving towards that turquoisey blue. It's a rich blue, as the browns are rich. And it's a sort of drown your eyes in type of blue. And the state of the door is just excellent. You know, rich piece of old. I tell people not to try and describe images with words, and this is me doing exactly that. But anyway, then there's a sort of rose thing, or is it the door handle, or someone put a rose in the place of the door handle? Great, what can I say? Well spotted. Now here's one. This is from 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗕𝗙𝗢, who says, what does she say? Second door photo. Now I'm going to tell you off here. What do I say in the instructions? Everyone pay attention. It says posting guidelines. Can you see this? It says post your favorite shots in the thread below with a value-added comment, not just here's my door. So 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗙𝗙's comment was second door photo. As the French would say, limit detention after school. This is great. And I didn't spot the great bit about it until I looked at it in more detail. And it's got a scary ghost shadow hand coming to grab the door handle. I love it. It's really good. And the door itself is nice, isn't it? It's a lovely old wooden door with bits of scrappy holes in it and stuff. Looks like it's been shot. My God, it looks like it's been a target practice for an air pistol at some point. And it's been taken slightly from above, looking down, which makes the angles of the wooden panels splay out, which is obviously more interesting probably than just taking it straight on. Anytime you've got a flat surface, I'm holding up my hand, you can't see it. Every time you've got a flat surface, to make it more interesting, just put the camera at an angle going down, angle going up, from the side this way, from the side this way. Something will happen. I don't know what. Something will happen, and it'll make it more interesting. I mean, that's just a variation on the theme of what's a crappy tourist shot. You see something, you lift the camera and you click. So do anything except that, and your shot will be better. Okay, great. That's a good one. And coming on to Romaine's shot. I mean, what can I say about this? I'm British, and here's a massive truck-sized Union Jack. And it's not just any old truck. Look at the ridged metal. He's done a real grungy effect on it as well. It's really a good shot. And he's also filled the frame with the subject. 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗙𝗙 was asking me, I think it was on Saturday, about subjects. I can't remember what she said exactly, But she said, you know, do you need a subject? What is the subject? And I mean, you can create the subject by simply making something fill the frame so there's nothing else, or making something much bigger or sharper or nearer or brighter than the other things. And that, by definition, makes it the subject. 𝗙𝗛𝗙𝗧𝗙𝗓 is saying, no, she's saying, happy to be an example for others. Yeah, I counted on you and you delivered. Someone is saying, first is a great shot. That isn't 𝗙𝗛𝗙𝗧𝗙. Someone's saying that to you. First is a great shot. Okay, good. So someone likes your shot. If you do make a comment like that, you know, just say like, love the hand shadow shot or something like that. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. 𝗙𝗛𝗙𝗧𝗏 says, okay, the story behind the photo. Well, let's go back to it. You know, this is your show. You want to talk about this? That's what we talk about. The story behind the photo. I was walking through the park. The sun was casting shadows or something like that. Thought I would take advantage of the gloomy atmosphere. Yeah. I think that's the one you're talking about, isn't it? The sun casting shadows. Because it doesn't look very gloomy, but yeah, because it wouldn't be gloomy if the sunshine. But the door's kind of gloomy, I guess. Okay, good stuff. And yeah, so I was on this, and it's a good shot, isn't it? It's a really wild thing. You see something like that, bam, take it. And it's a door, you know, there's a door in there. And Romain says, slide me if you can. An original food truck passed by, okay? I love the deco and triple lock on the sliding door. Triple lock, yep. I believe you. I think probably we'd need to see it in closer detail for us to see exactly how wonderful that triple lock is. And you've obviously, you've got the door in, you've got most of the Union Jack in. The only thing that maybe here, chopping the nose of the van off, for me, I don't like things chopped off. So I don't know, there may have been a very good reason for it, or you just wanted to concentrate on the door, but still, it's a vehicle. It's like a person who's, you know, it's like me. You took a photograph of me like this, you know, half my hand chopped off. There's something that jars for me. So I would have, all other things being equal, and not knowing why you took it like this exactly, I would have gone around to the front and seen if I could have got the nose of the van in, and then had the Union Jack receding into the back left of the photo. You might have lost the real massive impact, but then you'd have got the kind of the angle on the corner of the van. And if that stripe goes right the way around the front, that could have been interesting as well. So I love it. I love grungy effects. There's a time for them. If you do it on every photograph, it doesn't become as, you know, impressive anymore. But every now and then, a grungy effect is great. Next one is from Alice. Sorry that I turn this way all the time. I'm actually looking at another screen just so that I can manage everything here. So sorry that if you look at my ear half the time, but anyway. Yeah, so this is Alice, and she says, I hope to get a shot of a proper door tomorrow. Can't remember if she did. What's wrong with this? It's a door. The photo below is my first submission. Thank you, Alice. Not a typical door, but doors on a neighborhood borough, a book little house. Yeah, we have those even in this town. It's turning into a big thing in France. Railway stations have them and local parks have them. I'm not sure how successful they are. The initiative is a good one, but I honestly, well, look at the state of this. Does that look like it? Well, I mean, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Look at the doors are like this. Is it because they're half open, or is it because they're falling off the hinges? Anyway, it's great. Not a typical door, but doors on a neighborhood borough, book little house. I think it may have been a better picture if I had taken the picture from a lower position. I don't know, because you'd have lost the angle between the top frame and those sort of hanging doors, or the gap. You'd have lost that. So I don't think so, unless it would have been another photograph in any case. No. You want that because you see the books behind it through the gap, so you think it's got character. It's sabby webby, you know. in case you missed it earlier. It's sabby wabby. It's wabby sabby. It's beauty in imperfection. Imperfection is so much more beautiful than perfection, which doesn't exist. You can say that a photograph is perfect, but it just means that you like it a lot. It doesn't mean it's perfect at all. One person's perfect is another person's terrible. And there's many ways you can illustrate that. Like, I mean, pretty awful ways, like winning or losing wars, or football teams winning or losing. You know, one guy scores a goal, one person's ecstatic, another person on the other side is in tears. So there's no such thing as perfection, but if you like it, as I'll probably say this every time, if you like it, it's perfect. There's no other gauge you need to put it against than your own pleasure that you get from taking it, from playing with it, or from sharing it, or just looking at it. So I like it. The books you find in those things, they're often kind of weird. I do find the odd English one, though. I don't know why they tend to throw away English books in France, but I try not to take it personally. This is from Reinhold again. So Reinhold was that was Romain, the truck. Reinhold was the, what was it? I've got this mouse that I roll the wheel and sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It's not always what I want. Oh my God, it was ages ago. I've lost him. Oh, well, okay. Was that his first? So Reinhold sent this in. Maybe I was looking at it earlier. And he says, big building, little door. Oh yeah, I hadn't actually seen the little door. And he also says, sorry, Sab, no angles. And I replied that you'll notice I'm also a big fan of grids. You only have to look at the way I present my photographs to see that that's true. A chapter of my photographs is presented like this, in a 3x3 grid. And angles are only angles if they're in relation to straight lines, which are not angles as such. So you need the straight lines, you need the standard horizontal and vertical edges in order to have the angles. So I'm a fan of grids. And here's one, it's a natural one. And it's pretty cool. He's nicely decided to, I was saying last week with the trees, I had trees as two bits of frame on either side of a picture. If I'd had them, like with my hands, literally touching the edge of the frame, I would actually have lost something, because it would just be a bit like, it would have replaced the frame of the picture. But if you move it in like this, you have space in between, hang on, my hands are not, in between your frame and the picture frame. It's stronger, I feel. And that's what's happened here. You see, he's got this white bit here on the top and on the left. If he'd had that touching the edge of the frame, it would just have been like another fake picture frame. But it's now a frame within a frame. And I like the way that he's put that top on the left and on the top is the same. It's exactly the same look, which is a nice frame coming in top and one side, which leads the eye down to the other diagonal corner where the detail is, where the door is. So that's great. So that's very nice indeed. And it's a tiny little door. It makes you imagine, it makes you wonder how big the whole building must be. Maybe it's not much bigger, maybe it's huge, but it's a funny little door and it's a funny little building with funny colors, funny texture, funny design. And I mean funny peculiar, not funny ha-ha, weird. And there's a tree, a funny little tree next to a funny little door. I just want a funny little man to come out of it, or woman. And it's very subdued in the coloring, which is nice, because I get sick of my own photographs sometimes because I always have these bright colors. So it's actually nice to see some subtlety for a change. Not everything has to be totally saturated. I'm speaking to myself now. Someone says, cuckoo. And I don't know who it is. Maybe it's Yaruska. Yaruska, yes. Hi, Cuckoo. How are you doing? And yeah, Reinhold said it's a great shot. 𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗕𝗢𝗓. I can't remember if that was a new comment or an old one. Yeah, so it's subtle, it's subdued, it has a different atmosphere, and I like it. And we've got another couple. Yeah, here's Reingold's. Yeah, okay, here's another one. Ooh, this is very nice. This is very atmospheric. It's what do you think it is? Any comments on this? Give me your comments. What do you think of this photograph? Tell me in a word or two. What's the word that comes into your mind when you look at this photograph? If you're on the replay, type it in as well. I'll still see it. And if you're live, what's the word, words that this makes you think of? I see stark lines. There's that diagonal in the top left, which leads into the sky, which is about a third of the photograph. And then the bottom 2/3 are these, not exactly clinical, it doesn't look particularly clean, but they're very, very structured, no nonsense lines. And there's something about it. I don't know what there is about it, but there's something about it. It's like a study in geometry. Yeah. And this is another building with doors, but I can't really see many doors. Oh, maybe those are the doors down at the bottom. Remain. Oh, Facebook user is probably Reinhold. Reinhold says, thanks for your kind words. Right, here's one from Romain. And he says, door to go. Walking around and saw this waiting to get picked up. A little voice whispered, take me, take a picture of me. And he did. And he shared it with us. And that's what it's all about. Right, this is good. Oh, okay, hang on. Sniper. Word for another building with doors. Okay, sniper. That was a comment on Reinhold's photograph just now. Thanks, 𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗕𝗢𝗓. Yeah, it's not very comfortable, actually, looking at that photograph, is it? Makes me feel slightly uneasy, slightly nervous. Yeah, there's something about it, a definite atmosphere to that. Now I like this because it's playing with a circle and lines, and I do this sometimes. I'll often get a car wheel in if I'm doing something on the ground, like there's some sort of geometrical pattern on the ground. Sometimes it's a bit too harsh and it needs something a bit, not exactly human, but something a bit rounder to contrast with it. You've just got straight lines. They're not as strong straight lines as if you have a round thing next to it, and then the round thing is stronger and the straight line thing is stronger. Contrast, it's contrast. I once wrote a poem called Contrast. Everything is contrast. And I wrote it about 20 years ago, and I'm still seeing contrast as a massively important compositional element. Would it bug you if I've tried to find that poem? Would that be interesting? I don't know. See how quickly I can do it. See if I don't lose everyone. Okay, poems, poetry. Well, I hope this is it. Yeah, it's contrast, and it was from about 20 years ago. Yeah, I think it was called Contrast. And I think it was about 19. This is my poetry site. It's called mysticrhythms.com. And this poem, Contrast, was about 2002, maybe. I'll open a few of these at the same time so as not to make everyone die of boredom. In those days, I didn't have pictures for all of them, so I just put a sort of standard. No, it's not there. Contrast, contrast, contrast. Where are you? Contrast. There it is. So you can use this poem as a kind of inspiration for this. This photograph was from 2001, around 2001. And it was in Greece, the year I went to marry and divorce a Greek girl, in that order. And you can see already, you know, contrast was majorly up in my mind. And you've got this boat, a big boat here, and it's near, and it's slightly off to the left. You got a smaller boat in the distance, which is actually a bigger boat, but in terms of size in the photo, it's smaller, and it's on the right, and it's fuzzy, it's grey. Things go into the distance, they tend to lose colour as well. And this inspired a poem called Contrast, which I will now read to you, if that would be okay. Just type okay. So contrast, all is contrast. I haven't read this for 20 years. All is contrast. No comparisons, no copulations, no conclusions without contrast. Big and small, near and far, hammer and fall, church and bar, ancient and new, complex, simple, me and you, smooth and dimple, dark and light, shadow and sun, left or right, many and one, pollution and purity, sacred and scum, doubt and surety, deity, bum, rigid and fluid, metal and water, neophyte, druid, father and daughter, land and sea, trouble and calm, you for me, thorn and balm, becalmed and tossed, love and hate, possessions and lost, on time, late, wet and dry, work and play, laughter and sigh, home and away. Contrast, all is contrast. And you can have similar fun by playing with contrast in your photographs, and you must. Contrast is an essential creative element and powerful tool that you have in your toolbox. And what I mean by contrast is just have two things that are not the same, or somehow there's some relationship between the two things, which is not the same. You know, like there's a big thing and a small thing. That's the obvious example. So thanks for that. mysticrhythms.com. And we're getting to the end of the Doors. Do you like the Doors? I like the Doors. I was listening to a radio program recently, and someone said they didn't particularly like the Doors when they first came out. You know, the music group. People are strange when you're a stranger. Everyone in the Montparnasse, in the Père-Lachaise cemetery in Paris, you've just got these sort of hordes of tourists walking around like zombies. Excuse me, do you speak English? Jim Morrison's grave. Jim Morrison's grave. It's like there's nothing else to see except Jim Morrison's grave. But anyway, I never go to the cemetery to look for a specific grave unless I've heard that there's a particularly interesting one, and certainly not Jim Morrison's grave. I prefer to stumble across things. There's a particular grave in. There's a statue in Paris. It's Montaigne, I think, something like that. And his foot is very shiny. It's kind of got his legs crossed, and his foot is shiny, sticking out. And it's out opposite the Sorbonne. And people, all the students, go and rub his foot, and it's shiny. The rest of the statue, it's a sculpture in metal, is normal sort of dull grey-brown color. But the toe of his foot is bright and shiny copper, beautiful, because all the students rub it because they before their exams, because that gives them good luck, they think. In Père-Lachaise cemetery, there's another statue which has also got a shiny bit on it. And the statue, it's on the gravestone, there's a statue of a man lying down, and he was shot in battle. And apparently he was sculpted as he was found lying in battle, like this. But I don't know if the statue is sculpted absolutely lifelike or cast from him or something, but there's a particular bit on him which is shiny and the rest isn't. And it's true that there is a certain bulge in his trousers at that part, and it's shiny. And it's apparently, if you rub this, and certain people take lurid photographs touching it, it's supposed to turn you into some sort of sexual god or goddess or something. So I've got a record shot for that, yeah. And there you go. moving swiftly on. That was the door photos. Oh, we've got a new one. Oh my goodness. She's just got it in at the last minute. Oh my goodness, Alice, well done. This was me trying to pump you up and get a few more door shots in, and it worked with Alice apparently. It's not exactly a door, it's a doorway leading into a door, you know, humble little French cottage type of thing, you know, not at all, we are the French, we are the best. Oh, it's some sort of official building, but it was pretty cool what they've done, you know, the blue, white and red, and they've actually made the inner doorway recessed, the white bit and the blue and the red. It's, you know, it's pretty impressive, you know. That reminds me of this sculpture thing in one of the cemeteries, Montparnasse, Montmartre cemetery, and it's got a head which is carved inverse. So in other words, instead it's a head statue, but instead of the head coming out towards you like a normal person's head and the nose being the closest to you, it's inverted. So you're actually looking like a soup bowl. It's like you're looking into a soup bowl that is carved as a head. So you look at it straight on, it just does look like a head. You can't really tell that it's carved in instead of out. But the crazy thing is, when you walk past and you look at it from the corner of your eye, the optical effect of the shadows is it follows you. It literally turns its head as you walk past and watches you. It's really, really wild. And that reminded me of this. Enough. Alice coming in as a late runner right at the end. And what have we got here? I just got downtown and took a couple of pics of this door. Wish I could have backed up, but I would have stood in traffic. Oh, come on, Alice, make an effort. So she's actually in somewhere exotic, which I've obviously forgotten. I think it's either Middle East or Asia. Correct me because I am wrong probably. And that's incredible. It looks like it's got replicas of coins, but you know, a coin, but this size. That's pretty amazing. Down here, my eye was immediately attracted to this motif. It looks like a boat, and that reminds me of the motif of Paris. And it's like those things, it's one of those things when I say to people or to myself, remember to look out for the boats, or the boat is the motive of Paris, the sort of motto, I don't know what a motto, a visual motto. Suddenly you see these boats everywhere, on schools, on lampposts, on boats, on, you know, it's suddenly everywhere. That's great. Really interesting door. So there's two things here. The door is interesting. And what about the photograph? This is something to ask yourself. When you take a shot, are you taking a record shot? You show it to people and you say, I saw this door? Or are you saying to people, look at this, and you've added something? So that's just something to bear in mind. You know, this looks like a shot. She took the shot, so she got the shot. And you have to do that. If in doubt, take a shot and then see if you can compose it better. I often do that. I mean, when I'm walking around, there's often something or someone, I just suddenly see them, and I'll just take the camera out and I'll press the button. And if they're still there in the same position, I'll then start to try and make it into a proper shot. But if all else fails, at least I've got the shot, you know, just take the shot, then take a better one if you've got time. But often when you're walking around, you don't, and you've just got to just hope that the one you managed to get is a good one. And many of my shots were taken like that it was the only one I managed to get, but at least I got it. And when you've got a certain amount of sort of tool baggage on you, even the grab shots often end up being okay. And the last one in this theme is another door in a doorway. Oh yeah, okay. What fun. No time since you're going live soon. Oh, thanks, Alice. You know, thanks for contributing them. So you've got a door is framed in this wild, weird doorway. Santa Baby Bar. Okay. God, I wish I could remember where you are. Well, the Santa Claus, so it must be a Santa Claus type place. Oh, I can't remember where you said you were going. The coin door is amazing. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Let me see if I can see who's saying this. So Reinhold is saying the coin door is amazing. It's an amazing door. And he's saying, I like the door with the ghost hand and the British van and the books. You're being very modest there, talking about other people's photos there, Reinhold. Good stuff. Let me just put this comment up as well. I like Alice's photo of the books. What photo of the books? Alice's photo of the books. I'm not sure which ones you mean there. I'm creative. It's creative, and I'm a bit of a nostalgic sometimes. I also like Romain's door to go and the sniper building with doors by Reinhold. Not sure whether these photos I like highlight the theme, except for Romain's photos, but you are the judge of that. Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by the books. Probably another photograph, not from here. Okay, cool. Well, time is actually getting on, isn't it? And I've spent quite a lot of time on these doors, and thanks for your comments, everyone. That's great. And now let's just do this thing. Okay, so if you want to participate, then just give me your favorite photograph. Okay, just write the words in the chat that I can identify which photograph you think is the favorite. Okay, just let's keep it at one, otherwise it'll take a little bit too long. Okay, so I'm looking for each person now. Type in the person's name, if you can remember, and the photograph that you liked, and I'll put those into the favorites for this week. And mine will be, as I'm waiting for some feedback from you guys, I will choose my favorite three. Oh my goodness. All right. That one, reflection. This one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like the shadow. I'm not supposed to be choosing the same people each week, but I might not, my brain might not be up to remembering who I had last week. Okay, the door. Yeah, the coin door is amazing. I like that one. This one is beautifully sinister. Oh my God, it's quite tricky actually. Okay, I'm just going to tell you straight away. This one is going to be in my top three for sure. Just the crazy smashed up door. I'm going to go for something more austere and menacing. So I do like the atmosphere of. Oh, this is Alice's book. This is Alice's book one. Yeah. I do like that as well, actually. Yeah. I'm definitely going to go for one of Reinhold's austere ones. Which one? I'm going to go for. I'll go for this one because it's muted, and it's a good reminder for me that I should do more muted stuff, not always the in-your-face colors. So that'll be one of them. I do like this one, Romain. I do like it. I like the coin door, but I feel it was pretty much of a quick shot without being run over in traffic. So I'm actually going to go for. I love the Union Jack. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for this one because there's something about it. It's spotted. It's got the plant around it. It's an old broken down thing. I like the angles. The books are echoing the angle of the door. Can you see that? All the doors are echoing the angle of the books. So I do like that as well. And you filled the frame with it. It's not like, oh, somewhere in that photograph there's a funny little book thing. No, you filled the whole frame with it. So those are my three. There you go. Ta-da! Congratulations, everybody. I don't actually have any other comments coming in, so either it's not working or you don't have anything to say. So I'm just going to stick with mine. Those are the winners, those three. Now, what about the theme? Is anyone still awake and going to give me an idea for a theme? I had a theme suggestion, which was patterns, and I can't remember who said it. It was probably Facebook user. Alice's books photo is my favorite. Okay, 𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗓𝗙. So that's getting a lot of love, as they say. Now, what about a theme? So I had patterns as a theme. Someone suggested patterns, and I can go with that. I can go with it. All right. So that's a possibility. Anyone else got any other ideas? So you've got abstract, complete abstract, like blue, or patterns is pretty abstract, and it's very, very wide, large theme. Having said that, you can't always find patterns everywhere, and patterns, they could be patterns like on a door, a repetition of boards on a door, or they could be a series of doors, or they could be a building with just a sort of mesh of just a mass of windows, all the same. Or you could look for patterns in nature, I guess patterns of leaf veins, or I don't know, patterns in the sand, like Christina's beautiful ripples on the sand from a week ago. So yeah, let's go with patterns. It sounds good. I wonder if I can narrow it down at all. If anyone has any ideas on how I can do that, just to make it a little bit narrower than just patterns, but patterns is okay. I can go with that. Yeah. All right. So we've got about 10 minutes. If anyone has any questions or about any photographs, then feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to just look at another couple of new photographs that have been put in the group in the last little while. All right. So this is the main page. And we had a couple of Sunday. Look at this. Look at this. Can anyone help out here? It says it's from Rivka, who's a member of the group, who says, looking for recommendations. I need to take some pics of me and my husband. Does anyone have suggestions for background or where to take some cute selfies? That's kind of vague. Rivka, kind of vague. I don't know where you live. Yes, I do. You live in Baltimore, Maryland. So anyone from Baltimore, Maryland? Otherwise, so she wants cute selfies. Suggestions for background. What has she given here? Here's what I got. Here's what I got. Yeah, no, I've got a feeling. I can't remember, but I think she's the one who said she has to take selfies because she promotes a service of taking cute selfies for couples or something, but she doesn't like it. So she needs help on selfies. Well, watch this space, because in a month, I'm doing a 5-day challenge, and you might be interested in it, Rivka. You really, really might be interested in my 5-day challenge in this group, starting in January. Just a little hint there. Warm hugs are better than cold shoulders. They look a lovely couple, you know, you really do, but there's nothing except your heads. So one thing is filling the frame. It doesn't matter where you are, does it? You can fill the frame. It looks like almost one of those photo booth things. Please give me comments in the chat if you can. If this were a photo booth, imagine you're in a photo booth, you've got 4 shots, and you know, it's like, boom, and then you have to do something different, like, boom, and do something else, but yeah, but watch, boom, and you get strange ones. You could go in thinking, okay, think of 4 poses in a photo booth and do it. You know, one could be head to head like this, straight on. One could be nose to nose. One could be one person looking and the other person with a nose or giving a kiss on the cheek. And the other one could be the other person looking straight on and the other person giving him a kiss on the cheek. You could vary it. You could have one person giving one a kiss on the cheek and them looking like they're really enjoying it. And then at the last minute, you do the opposite. And at the last minute, the person who's getting the kiss on the cheek puts up a horrible face. You can pull the funny faces, of course. You can one can pretend you're sleeping. This is just me thinking of different poses, but if you're doing selfies for a specific reason, like it has to show how you could create fun portraits of loving couples, then you know you've got criteria which I don't know about, so I can't really comment. You talk about backgrounds. Well, we're talking as soon as you go out of the studio, you're talking about environmental photography, and that I know that Paris is great for it because I do it. You know, I walk around Paris and I use Paris as my backdrop. As for the lighting, normally the fun poses and the fun that the couple or the person is having normally is strong enough that any problems with the lighting are sometimes pale into, not into insignificance. You've got to try and get good lighting, but you can get away with it if the lighting isn't perfect because of the environment. But I'm in a town, walk around a town or even the countryside, and if it's a town with any sort of character whatsoever, then what, a door, our theme was doors. Put them against a door that has character. Or have one person opening the door for the other one, or one person coming through the door and the other one being surprised, or yeah. I mean, I do this. Sometimes people want me to take photographs of them wandering around Paris. There's different types of this. One is the cheesy, awful sort of set marriage poses. That's not what I do. I do spontaneous stuff, and I play with the environment. And again, just like my street photographs, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I might have an idea of an area, and I might know that in that area there are certain things you can do, but still, I'm wandering around. The ideas will come fresh. The weather can change the ideas. What the people are wearing can change the ideas. The people themselves, obviously, can change the ideas, and they should have a say in the photograph, because as soon as they've given you the idea, they're about 3 times as enthusiastic about it as if you had just said, okay, yeah, could you put your hand there, no, a bit higher, just turn your head, tilt. This is like the photographer trying to get them to do something that the photographer has in mind, but they haven't got a clue what the photographer wants. But if they have had a funny idea, I don't know, like the woman puts her foot on the man's head or something, whatever, if it's their idea, they will be loving it. So, definitely, I mean, I'm probably preaching to the converted, better than I do, how to take fun portraits of people. But those are just ideas that came to my mind, just, spontaneously. And we're more or less at the end. I did want to have a look at a couple of photographs from Sunday, though, because people sent in a couple of nice ones. Where am I? So let me see if I can find Sunday. Having said that, Showcase Sunday, there it is. So remember, Monday is this. We talk about the week's theme and we imagine a new theme. Tuesday is Techno Tuesday. Techno stands for technology, and it's either talking about phone stuff or app stuff. Wednesday is Well, it's another webinar for the moment, and I choose a theme and I try to talk about that theme. And you can also send in photographs with questions and I'll talk about them, and I'll have a guest if anyone actually wants to come on. I'm just saying this because I've got a list here. This is me Thursdays, when you promote a link plus you post a selfie. Now, this isn't like other groups where they have themes and you just promote yourself. You just have a link. Yes, it's that. But this is the Creative Smartphone Photography Group, and I want you to get creative with your photographs. And selfies are fun. You're always there, in case you hadn't noticed. You're always available. Even if you're trying to hide behind the camera. No. And it stimulates your creativity. And it makes you more confident about putting yourself out there. And your selfies will never be like other people's boring selfies ever again. Your challenge is to never take a selfie of yourself, which is the same as any other, for the rest of your life. How about that? Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to try and make every selfie different. And you can post a new creative selfie in the This Is Me Thursday thread in this group every week. And we'll say that we like it and learn from it. Feedback Friday, again, I'm not sure about these themes, but at the moment, the idea is you post photographs that you want a particular piece of advice on a particular aspect of the photograph. Seminar Saturday, first half hour is me telling you about this week's photographs from Paris. And the other half is, again, your photographs. And Showcase Sunday is about you just showing us your favorite shots, favorite recent shots or old shots, just shots that you've taken on your smartphone that you love and you just want to get some love back. So just very, very quickly, Ingrid, you see, people don't always post in all the threads and some not at all, but they'll find one that just does it for them. And Ingrid has posted here. and she says in French, chaque jour sur la route du travail, ce rond-point est un repère. So it's a roundabout, and every time she goes past in Christmas, it's all lit up and it's nice. And she took a shot, so good. I often take shots from moving vehicles, not when I'm driving. And whatever you think of Christmas, at least it cheers things up a bit, doesn't it? On the boring way to work. Thanks for that, Ingrid. And then there's the last one I'll talk about here from Susan. And I was saying, she said something like, she says sunset from 3,000 feet. Sometimes you just have to make the best of the situation. Not quite sure what she means by it. So it was for me seated in economy class and over the wing as we left Seattle, Dubai. That's where she is, Dubai. And flew north and east on our way to Dubai, United Arab Emirates. And I replied, we forget how incredible it is to even be able to take shots like this, in an airplane looking down on the clouds. Hello, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Just a few decades ago, nothing in the history of mankind, which is nothing in the history of mankind, this image would have been unthinkable. And both in terms of being up in the air in the first place is pretty amazing, and the idea of being able to capture it in a little black box is also incredible. So, you can reflect on the wonder of life, the universe, and smartphones as you take your shots. You don't have to desperately be looking for some amazing composition. Just the fact that you can do this is just incredible. And then share it is wonderful. And what a great shot. Look at that lovely strip of beautiful, pure, gorgeous orange against the blue. That's one of the most beautiful color combinations in nature. Blue and orange, as I painted my walls when I was about 7, with my parents' blessing. Bless them. That's it for this week. Thank you, for this show. So thanks for watching. It's been an hour. I do love spending time talking about your photographs and mine and photography in general. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me and for contributing. And go out there and shoot on this week's theme, which is patterns. I haven't managed to think of anything more specific than patterns, but I'll tell you something. Try to make it almost all pattern. Try to make the shot almost all pattern. But if you want to have one element which isn't, to sort of throw the pattern into stark relief, like everything is a pattern except for that tiny little corner where there's a bird, something like that, or a car wheel, or a piece of litter. This is what makes the photograph stronger. Because if you just take a picture of a patterned carpet, it's like, looking at your grandmother's wallpaper. So what? There has to be something of contrast. And if you're just watching at the end, you thought, I'll see what he says in the last 5 minutes. I read a poem of mine from about 20 years ago called Contrast, to insist on the importance of contrast in a photograph. So please take wonderful patterns. But if it's only the pattern, it's like, I'll leave you with one idea. You take a picture of a tower block. The whole shot is full of a tower block with rows and rows of boring square windows, all the same. But in one window, there's a Union Jack flag, a naked woman, or one window has the awning down, which is orange, and none of the others do. That's what makes the photograph. See you again on Wednesday, maybe next Monday, on Saturday. Put your photos in any and all of the threads that interest you. And thanks for watching. Bye for now, my friends, and get out there and shoot people. And that's not a very nice way to finish on, is it? I always say that when people ask what I do, I go and shoot Parisians. You know what I mean.